Hello, and welcome back to Talking Shop, a series of fun conversations with consummate concert artists, composers, opera singers, and choreographers. I'm so excited today to be visiting with Maria Cecilia Baumegger. She is a soprano actress, or an actress soprano rather, known for her dynamic stage presence and captivating singing actress capabilities. And I'm just delighted to see you today for everyone else's benefit. Maria and I met in a Lee Strasberg method acting class that we're both taking. I think this is our second class together.
Yes.
And she's just delightful, and I'm so thrilled to have her as my guest today. So I just wanted to welcome you, and then we're just going to get started. And the first question I ask all of my guests is, what does being an opera singer and actress mean to you personally?
It's, I think it's very interesting because it reminds me of I was in university and they were recording something and they were asking the students, "Oh, why do you sing?" And then I stopped like for a moment and it was like because that's who I am. It's like
Right.
it's so hard because that's really who I am. And the singing, acting thing is, I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, but I don't see myself one without the other.
Yeah.
So
Well, that I love that. And let's explore that a little further because I know the acting component is extremely important to you and it's very much a part of your persona, both I think personally and professionally, which you really can't separate the two, right? So tell us a little bit more about how that developed in your life.
yeah, initially when it was, yeah, my stories are always a bit crazy. I woke up one day and I thought, oh, I'm going to be a singer. Okay, but I was going to be like a pop singer. I wanted to compose my own things and write my own lyrics. And I really enjoy Madonna and all this full spectacle of her performances because it was very performatic. And yeah, it was not only just one thing like a display of beautiful vocals. And well, eventually my singing teacher, she said, well, your voice is not actually going to like how people usually sing, like popular music. It feels that it wants more. Why don't you go and try classical singing? And I was like, no, no, opera. No, it's so like boring. I mean, I was 16.
Yeah.
And then I got there and of course, I was singing like basic Caro mio ben and well, those things. And the teacher was like, oh, come here, let me show you some things. And then he started to educate me. And I said, yeah, some Traviata, Bohème, Carmen. And it was like, yeah, it's beautiful. But you know, when it stops in the beautiful,
Right.
and then I listened to Tristan und Isolde, and oh my God, this music, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I went to research about it. And then I got to the Gesamtkunstwerk, that is this, that in my mind is that, oh my God, this makes total sense. So it's not just like a display of great vocalism. It's like those mechanical clocks
Uh-huh.
that like everything one depending on the other. So it's like music, poetry, dance, everything together
Yeah.
at depending like at the same level of importance. And this made sense to me
Hmm.
because also Madonna made sense to me. So it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
Wagner became my new Madonna.
I love that. That's great. So, I know in reading about you, the concept of Gesamtkunstwerk, It's
Hmm.
very intriguing to me, and I feel like that's a little bit of what you're talking about here. Can you go into more depth in that and it kind of round that out for us a bit?
Yeah, this is aesthetic concept that it was already coming, but Wagner kind of appropriated himself, especially because he used to write a lot of essays and that became books. So he wrote like a treatise about music and drama and how things should be working together. So it should, yeah, be a complete 360
Hmm.
work of art. And only with this would go for the ideal work of art to fulfill the human. So it's yeah, and of course you are a teenager, you enjoy you're very idealistic. And I think I still am, but it made so much sense to me. And then later I ended up going as an associate for, yeah, a degree, associate degree for acting. So I could understand like separately, just as I was, what was singing, I
Hmm.
wanted to properly understand what was acting.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, it was very interesting. But
Yeah,
of course, nothing compared to what we are having on Strasbourg it's very amazing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll get into the Strasbourg component in just a bit because we have a lot to talk about there. Um, but I feel, I love so many composers, and I love Bellini, I love Verdi, all the traditional opera composers, and yet Wagner has always, in my view, kind of stood out as a little bit different. And I feel like you're touching on one aspect of what distinguishes Wagner from other operatic composers. Can you draw a little bit more of a comparison for us?
What
Do you feel other operatic composers also envelop this concept of Gesamtkunstwerk? Maybe not to the degree that Wagner did, but
wow.
in some way.
Okay, now I'm going into being a singer and saying certain things. I feel it's very like, oh, but if we think that nowadays we live in a Regie Theater time, I think it would come closer to this ideal if we
Uh-huh.
put like music and drama on the same level.
Yeah.
And but it's different because I mean, I don't know. I feel that what I mean, as a spectator, when I watch a Bellini opera or I'm like, oh my God, look at these vocal lines, all these lines, and it's so amazing.
Yeah.
So it is so much about the music for itself. And then when I go to Wagner, even even in the music, like the leitmotif, they are they are acting as if the music is also acting in a very raw
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, even to a point that I was in during a lesson with Lola Cohen. She said, "Oh, have a look on the leitmotif
Yeah.
from Brünnhilde,
Yeah.
because there you'll also be able to trace every acting
Yes.
moment." I
Yes.
mean, this is obvious, but it's so amazing nonetheless. It's not because it's obvious; it's less amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that concept of leitmotif. And I guess we should probably talk a little bit more about what that means to hopefully people outside the music industry are listening to these. And if you want to expand on that, that would be lovely.
Yeah, and in very vulgar terms. It's like the theme of something.
Yeah.
So in, for example, in The Ring, if you see they are talking about oh my God, I forgot the name in English. Woo!
It's okay.
The sword, the
Yeah.
sword.
Yes.
Oh, appears the theme of the sword.
Yeah.
So there's like the theme of the sword. So, and you recognize
Yeah.
it's basically, if we think about the shark
Yeah.
movie,
Yes. Jaws.
Jaws,
Yes.
you
Bum,
know,
bum,
it's
bum,
like
bum. Exactly.
da-na-na-na-na. You
Yeah.
know, oh my God, it's the shark.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
basically that.
Perfect analogy. Perfect
Yeah.
analogy. Thank you. That's absolutely wonderful. Okay, well, I think that's the perfect segue into our meeting in the Strasbourg Institute classes, and your degree in drama as well as voice, and your feeling that acting is just really an inseparable part of singing opera. Um, how have you? Can you take us a little bit on your journey of how acting I feel like it started at the beginning, but how did acting grow to become pretty much an equal component of your singing, as the music and vocal training and all of that? How do you view that, and how has the Strasberg method really helped take that to a different level for you?
Yeah. I did study a lot of Stanislavski
Hmm.
when I studied 200 years ago. Yeah, acting, and he has a book, Stanislavski on opera. It's very interesting because he had an opera studio, so it's really amazing. And then he narrates um, all the things that he would do with with the singers, and he would call them singing actors.
Ah,
And I mean, even if you're singing, acting with your voice, but in the end, Lisa, I think it's what makes sense for you as an artist.
mhm,
Because I mean, for me, when I look at a character that I find interesting, I look through the eyes of an actor. Other people, they look through the eyes of a singer.
yeah,
And who am I to say, oh, I am right and they are wrong?
yeah,
I mean, even Wagner, he said in his latest essays, oh, I am kind of disagreeing with my initial idea of Gesamtkunstwerk. It's like, it's not 100% like that. So, I mean, I think we need to be democratic.
Well, I love
Right.
that. And I kind of go all around this all the time myself, because as a pianist, as an opera singer myself, I was never really taught much about acting, as far as just being such an integral part of my singing. It seemed to be more of a second
But it
component.
is not. But it is not.
Mhm.
They don't actually teach you acting for acting like they do. Oh, you're going to a vocal technique.
Ah,
Okay, at 3, on Wednesdays, you have vocal technique
yep,
in university. You don't have on Fridays at 4 acting lessons. You don't. They
yeah,
don't treat this the same
yeah,
way. And
yeah.
then when you go to the professional career, especially nowadays, they expect you to.
Mhm.
And then people start saying, oh, because the issue is that she is overweight. No one will go for a overweight Violetta Valéry. No, that's not the issue. If you can, I mean, of course, if you have a beautiful face and a beautiful body and blah blah blah, you can be standing and barking, then no one cares. Because unfortunately, we are humans and that's
Yes.
how we roll.
Hmm.
But I mean, if the acting component is there, you are just another overweight person
Yeah. Yeah.
being you know oh my God, I was going to say a whore. Being how can I be more?
It's okay. It's already out there, and I think that's just fine.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry.
no, 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 you're fine. Um, I think we've hit on something that really fascinates me because, and certainly, there's so much merit from, I think, the singer's perspective, thinking about the music and what the composer meant in allowing the music to express itself the way the composer intended. And I think, especially in an operatic role, some of that has to be built in. I think, when we talk about Mozart, especially his comic operas, or any opera, he's another one that comes to mind who's very character driven. His music is very character driven. And it just takes on a different element, I think, as a result. And two, I think just by nature, opera has a little bit of the acting and character development component in it. But I feel like this broader concept of seeing acting as another art form that is just then becomes part of singing and not as separate a component as we were just talking about. And it's the same thing with piano. There's improvisation, there's jazz, there are different types of genres, there is composition, there are all of these different aspects of piano that pianists are not taught as universities. It's basically, learn the notes, learn the rhythms. So there's this very strict regimen. And I'm sure, a lot of the same can be said in vocal training.
As if there are no creative, like purely
Exactly.
creative life,
Yeah.
and at some extent freedom of the interpret. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah, it is. And I think, I hope that we're getting into a time where there's a little bit less restriction as far as interpretation. I mean, honestly, I understand, kind of the bandwidth of classical interpretation. Yes, be yourself, be your own artist within these certain parameters. And yet, some of the most famous composers were known for breaking outside of those parameters. So it's a constant, really wonderful exploration to me of how we can take, music like Bach, for instance, and play it a little bit more romantically, which would be anathema for a lot of people,
Yeah.
and maybe it is, but I'm not sure it's a bad exercise to do that. Maybe that informs more of the Baroque style, when you're doing this. So, as I said, it's kind of a rabbit hole of exploration here, but I love that we're touching on this and bringing this out because I think there's so much artistry that's left on the table, so much creativity that artists are not allowed to express because of this.
Yeah, and there's always a lot of discussion over, oh, why is opera dying? Is it, or is just the way that, and the, I don't know, the park and bark, but
Yeah,
has already left the building.
yeah,
And um, just like in the movies, to be pretty is not enough, but still they tell us that it is, or they show
yeah,
that it is. I
yeah,
mean, I used to be very fat, and I a lot of in master classes they used to tell me, yeah, you have a great material, you have a beautiful face, but and it got to a point that I'm like, okay, this is my choice, but I honestly I don't want to lose a potential job
right.
if I have the same vocal level as the other singer just because she's thin.
Yeah, yeah. And that's such a sad commentary on our I guess apparently global society.
It is,
Um,
but that's the thing. We are just talking about opera, but no, it's everywhere,
yeah,
especially because there are so many people in the world, they can actually
exactly.
choose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's very true. And even the story of Maria Callas, the character that I've
Yes.
chosen for my acting exercises in this class that we're currently involved in. She used to be heavier too. You know, she was heavy and she lost a lot of weight. And even as her voice began to falter a little bit in her older years, some people blamed it on the fact that she lost weight. So it's just intriguing, isn't it, that being a heavier weight used to be associated with the quality of one's voice and that it was necessary. And then today we're
Yeah.
like, no, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
So
When we should be talking about, okay, but apart from what we are seeing, is this person actually performing well
yes,
as a Gesamtkunstwerk
yes,
artist on
yes,
stage? It's like, okay, but because in the end, that's what matters.
yeah,
That's what matters. And
yeah,
we are just playing, weight
yeah,
or
yeah,
beauty or even, I mean, don't even let's go,
yeah.
not
We
go
get
on
that's
ageism
exactly.
because that's
Yeah.
another.
And even Maria Callas, you know, was I think the thing that really set her apart. She had, let's face it, a magnificent voice, but her acting ability really set her apart.
Yes.
That's something she referred to it as theater, you know, that it was
Yes. I think she was a great divisor.
Mhm,
Yeah, like
mhm.
Moses.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go back. I love the tangent we got off on,
Yeah,
but let's go
sorry.
back to let's go back to talking about Strasbourg and how you feel these classes. I don't know how many classes you've taken, but how do you
Oh my
feel this
God,
method?
many. It's
Yeah.
been actually a year that I've been having monthly.
Oh wow, that's impressive. That's impressive. So how do you find the Strasbourg method acting enhances your acting and enhances your career pursuits as far as being a singing actress?
Yeah, I th I think both because I've studied before Stanislavski, so I had a basic understanding
Mhm,
about the system, and I instinctively pursued what the method acting
mhm,
without knowing that what I was doing. And but I would go like too deep, like just for example, I was singing Ariadne in Berlin, and then in the middle of that, I was not singing, that it was just the music, but before I had to start to sing, I started to cry, but I was so inside, I couldn't get out. I
ah,
couldn't remember my lines.
yes,
I couldn't get out of
yes,
this total despair, loneliness, Ariadne state.
yeah.
So I thought, okay. And people always came to me, oh, but you're such a good actress. And no, you should even think about only being an actress. And I was like, oh my God, are you a fan or a hater?
Big question there. Yes. No kidding.
Yeah. And so I thought, okay, I need to organize myself. So I went to a master class with David, um, the son
Yes.
of Lee,
Uh-huh.
and I talked to him about it, and it was great. And then I talked to a colleague who had already made some online courses, and I said, yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but because that's the thing, it made sense. It's
Yes.
a type of language that is already inside of me, and I just need to, organize and develop. So yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. I just personally I have found the method to be I think an indispensable tool for my performance. And I've from class I've said that I've had a lot of issues with performance anxiety, and I think people do. And
Beta blockers, but
yes,
yeah,
yes,
me
but
too.
I don't want to use
No, no,
those.
yeah,
If they
totally,
work
yeah.
for some, well,
I'm joking,
people need to do what works for them. So if it works for
totally.
people, that's fine. But it's a choice that I have made not to use those, and the power part of the most powerful part of method acting to me is its astounding ability to do exactly what it promises. It enables you to be private in a
In
public
public.
setting. Yeah. And you know, when you're on stage and just like Maria Callas, she would often want the theater lights to be dark so she wouldn't see the people. You know, she had a problem with this too. I mean, all of the great artists yesterday and today will constantly tell you, yes, this is a constant thing. And there are maybe as different, many different ways of handling it as there are people. But at the same time, I feel like the method, if you really study it, if you really immerse yourself into it, it gives you a plan um, for handling that. And not only just handling that, but it frees you and opens you as a creator to allow that personal interpretation we were talking about a few minutes ago to come out.
Yeah, especially, I really enjoy the preparation
Yeah.
moment.
Yes.
And I mean, the relaxation made such a difference that
Hmm.
every time that I go to that I study, yeah, everyday practice,
Yeah.
I do the relaxation before. I also, when I'm building the character, I do all the emotional memory, sensation, painting, everything. Really, really, I'm totally, yeah, I love it. It
Yeah.
makes
It's
much more
become a
sense. Yeah,
necessary part of my life, and it
yeah.
prepares. I had the best performance I've ever given yesterday because I focused
Congratulations.
on, thank you, focused on the preparation and made sure that I had enough time to allow that for, you know, I love how Lola said, um, just to be clear. It allows you to be clear.
And to be
So,
present.
and to be present, yes, and
And
to
to
be in the
be
moment.
honest and to
Yes,
have an
yes,
honest
yes.
performance,
Mhm.
because it I think it's so distracting to me when you see first the singer, then the character,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like, oh my God, what a diva. I said, oh no. But this is, again, it's me personally.
Yeah, yeah. I
um
think, you know, and it's evidence through history. I mean, the biggest names in the artistic world, whether it's opera, piano, you know, are the people who evoke that dramatic aspect, that acting aspect authentically. You know, to draw from the piano world, I feel like there are some artists today. I mean, people are gravitating to maybe a lot of display of drama on the stage, and you know, there's nothing really wrong with that, but I feel to establish oneself more permanently in the eyes, and this is just my feeling, but to establish oneself more permanently in the eyes of the public, and to maybe freshen the appeal of what we do and keep it alive, is for this authentic character development that becomes one with your music and is just
yeah,
part of who you are. It allows people to see you as a person through that character representation.
yeah.
And this brings us back to the conversation about opera dying. You know, I've heard this. I have never believed this because you know why? I'll tell you why I don't believe it. I just came out of university for the second time 2 years ago. So I was going to school with a lot of 20-year-olds.
I
Okay.
think this is also very sensationalist.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, people enjoy certain talks,
Well, of
but
course, and that's fine, and that's part of the intrigue. But there are so many young people wanting to be musical artists, whether it's opera, piano, and my fear is that schools are looking at these quote statistics and saying, well, there's not as much appeal for this. You know, the perfect example is the doing away of the Bachelor of Music programs at a lot of schools. You
uh-huh.
know, the Bachelor of Arts is just such a general degree, and the Bachelor of Music, maybe, you know, people don't want to go under that type of rigorous training, but it's absolutely necessary. But I mean, how do you feel? I just see too much interest from younger people. Um, People are singing opera in bars now and going to, breweries and having operatic concerts, which I think is absolutely fabulous, bringing it to the people so that people can become familiar with it. And it always ends up being something they didn't expect, and they're drawn to it in a way that they didn't expect.
Yeah, okay, this is again obvious. Everything I say is my personal opinion.
Sure.
So, what I see in general in so many areas professionally is that unless you have different area intersection, like because you cannot only do like only opera, I think you would be more successful, but because this is nowadays. Before it will be totally fine. You have to, you need different um intersectionality
Yes. Yeah.
of things
Yes.
to succeed, and this is in everything. It's like, oh my god, why a dentist need a Instagram profile? Yeah, but it's not that. It's something else that he is performing. He's not just performing the thing.
Hmm.
He Today you need to be not only just a good technician,
Hmm.
you need to be more.
Yeah.
So like, even as a singer, I think it's a good idea for you to understand about acting, about what is going on in the orchestra, what is going on behind the theater, what is going on in the market,
Yeah.
in different areas, what is going on in the acting world
Right.
regarding how are they functioning, because their issues are ours too.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a different name from, you know.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful point, understanding different aspects of art, and even the photographs, just like getting back to Strasbourg. I feel like we're a commercial for Strasbourg today, but at the
No,
same
totally.
time,
I mean, I totally forgot to say about that. When I did script analysis, initially it was like, why am I doing this? Oh my God, this is insane.
yeah.
And then I do basically script analysis on my scores.
Yes. Yes.
I like translated to a musical script analysis.
Yes. Where are the beats? Where is the
Yeah.
shift? Where is and to
Musically
yes.
speaking, and then we go
Yes.
back to the leitmotif.
Exactly, exactly. And then, how does our character in the opera relate and respond to the other characters in the opera? It's not just us up there singing a role, it's us being the character in relation to the setting, the times, the situation, how the other actors are responding, actor singers are responding to, the story and relating to your character. It's just so many things. You can just keep peeling back the onion. It's
Yeah.
just, I think, the beautiful part about art in itself, and then just in a much more involved way, when you think about, the acting, the theatrical, the technical, all of those other aspects that come together. Yeah.
Yeah, and nowadays we have more and more different versions of ourselves
Hmm.
because we can we have so much access to information, so we
Yep.
can go much deeper
Yeah.
than the previous generations.
Yeah.
And so to think opera in a tunnel vision,
Mhm.
I think it's really complicated because it won't connect.
Yeah. 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 Well, I couldn't agree with you more, and I do feel that there is a lot of effort being made to bring opera to the public. I love how the Met has put opera in theaters, and I love how opera singers are going into
I
different
love it.
venues.
When I
Yeah.
was still living in Brazil, I used to honestly I watched all of them.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because it's not that we had so much money from the government, because in Brazil it's basically from the government to do many operas,
Mhm.
and especially definitely not in the level of the Met.
Mhm. But well, I just think, it's very innovative, and I love seeing that. And it's happening, in my view, in ballet, and which is another genre they think, that is dying. But to me, it's all, and I've been dancing now for 12 years, and it's just such an integral part of who I am, and is such a part of my musical self, my vocal self, my instrumental self, my composer self. I can't separate all of that. It's just all of those different facets of me, of what I do. Um, let's shift a little bit. I'd love to hear your viewpoint on what you think singers should look for in a teacher or a coach. What are the most important things for a singer to find, and what kind of relationship should they look for in a teacher or a coach? Big question. We could go on. Yeah.
I think it's basically the same. What should you look for in a husband?
Ah,
It's unfortunately, you need to be very um, right of who you are, what are your personal ethics, your morals, your values. What are your values as a human being?
mm,
And it also depends. In the beginning, it's really complicated because you're in the person is for formation years. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. You're vulnerable. Yeah, exactly. Formation. I think
And
that's a great way to put it.
but in general, I think we are very vulnerable inside of a singing
Mhm.
with and I think the basic the biggest mistake that I made was to not look for a professional who would teach me the tools that I needed to sing.
Mhm.
I look basically for saviors.
Yes, I
I
get that.
think this is a monstrous trap. Also in master classes, because you will find people who are very kind and they won't take advantage. They will teach you how to protect yourself.
Yes, yes.
You will see
Mhm.
how vulnerable you are because you're going for a savior, and they
Yeah,
will teach you
yeah.
how to be also a person.
Hmm.
And then the majority will take advantage of you, financial advantage. If you are a woman, mainly other types of advantage. I heard things like, I mean, you will suffer abuse.
Yeah.
And I've heard things like, your voice is cancer.
Oh my goodness.
You're never going to be a singer. You need to be born again. Um, yeah, and just this is just basic things. And I mean, and it was sad because I thought that in this particular case, I had to push because I would get what I needed, that it was to be a singer through this person, through what he had to teach me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And after so many awful things, then in COVID, I had some private lessons with Rachel Willis Sorensen, the soprano.
Hmm.
And then when she went back into going full-time career because of COVID, she said, I won't be able to teach you anymore every week. Would you be interested on my teacher? I said, oh yeah.
Sir, say yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was, yeah, it was luck, I would
Yeah.
say. It was
Yeah.
a lot of luck. Yeah.
I've always looked for teachers who sing, have the vocal qualities that I feel that my voice can have. People who sing like I want to sing, people who have the qualities that I want to have. Not, and not because I feel like I know my voice. I feel like I know what it's capable of. And I think a good teacher is one, I don't know how to get there necessarily myself, but a good teacher is one who will take you there honestly, healthfully, and someone who believes in you and supports you. As artists, we're very emotionally sensitive people, and
Yeah.
it made so much difference in this part of my life to have teachers who really believe in what I want. And let's face it, I'm not 22 and I'm not just getting started, and people who believe in me at this point in my life and are helping my career really develop amazingly fast, are golden. And I feel very fortunate, as I'm sure you do. But I think that's very important.
Yeah, it's I think respect, like answering you very directly after I gave all this tragedy. It's like respect,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, both for who you are, for what you want, even if you are searching for an aesthetic of
Hmm.
singing
Hmm.
that your teacher disagrees
Yes.
personally. Because
Yes.
in the end, also, there is this aesthetic of sound that is very personal.
Yeah.
And sometimes your teacher disagree.
Hmm.
And then he needs to be able to say it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, what you're doing is not wrong.
Hmm.
I just think that this way of sounding would, I don't know, I enjoy more.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you want from this? Because
Yeah.
sometimes I just go and scream, um, like speaking,
Yeah.
and then my teacher looks at me like pure open chest on Wagner. So it's like it's not Santuzza,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then he goes like, and then I go for a disclaimer. Yeah, but it's my intention. And
Yeah.
then he's like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But I can do very singing, pretty, cute.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I choose to do it very theatrically.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So, and yeah, because and also a teacher who respects your instrument and doesn't want to change your instrument because you have a certain age and you should sound like this because how it should
Yes.
sound.
Yes.
And this was also a big thing for me because I always thought that I was very wrong because I never got into this sound that I should have in my 20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is very sad because only now I am letting myself be and and fully the 360 of singing with, yeah,
Yeah.
I am, and then singing and
Yes.
existing
Yeah.
through my voice. It's
I think that's so important. And you should sound, to me, you should sound like who you are. And I mean, even now my voice is probably better than it's ever been. And it's because I have a teacher who knows his stuff and has helped me bring it out again. I was not able to sing for many, many years. And so to be able to have that come back in my life has really completed it's made me whole, really for the first time. So I think it's so important to have a teacher like that who is not afraid to say, when that teacher supports you and is trying to help you accomplish what you want to accomplish,
yeah, and
they
not
can
going to
tell you,
personal.
the way
Yeah.
you're playing that octave makes my ears hurt. So, and I'm like, oh, well, come show me how to do it. So that's different than demeaning me or discriminating against
Exactly.
me. And is this exactly what you're saying? A teacher who nurtures your voice because of the characteristics that they hear in your voice, and also respects your decisions as an artist. So
Yeah.
we could just talk forever and ever. I feel like this is
Oh,
just the beginning, and
yeah.
I would love to obviously have you back at some point. But I wanted to close by asking you, are there exciting events coming up that you'd like everyone to know about, and what's on your plate coming up that you're really looking forward to?
Well, I'll be doing new recordings. Um, on, yeah, already next month. And
Fantastic.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to put into happening
Yeah.
everything that I've been working and learning and thinking and building. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I think in general, I'm very looking forward to, I don't know, to, it's so sad, but to be me.
I don't think it's sad at all. I think it's glorious. And I
No, but
can,
it's like,
yeah.
yeah, to be the full me and what I choose to be in that moment, and
Yes.
the shades of colors and textures that I choose, because now I can technically, and as a person, I feel safe. I feel safe inside of me, as, yeah, in my own skin, on my own skin. Yeah.
I'm so happy for you for that feeling because there's nothing like it. And to be, I know how it feels to start stepping into that, and it's glorious, and I'm very, very thrilled for you. Um, this has been so wonderful. Thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule
You're very
to sit
welcome.
down with us and let us get to know you a little bit more. And really, really can't wait to hear all of the wonderful things that you're doing.
Yes,
And
and what I'm recording is the Brünnhilde, is the
yes,
installation scene. It's her final moment.
oh my
So
goodness, yeah,
yes, it will be
fantastic,
on my YouTube
fantastic.
channel soon.
Okay, well, excellent. So that was the other thing I was going to say is you're going to let us hear about that and let us know when it's available so that we can all listen and just really enjoy who you are as an artist. Thank you so much for joining us again on Talking Shop. We look forward to seeing you at our next episode.